Sometimes y'all ask me about my bathroom vanity and where I bought it, which is awesome, and that makes me so happy because it means that y'all thought I bought it from a store when I actually built it. We started by removing the builder grade vanity. It did go to a good home. And then I built this new vanity out of oak plywood and oak wood for the front and oak veneer for the front as well. But I ran into a problem. When I measured for it, I didn't measure the front and back of where it was going to sit, so it wouldn't just slide into this space because the walls weren't straight, meaning they weren't perfectly parallel with each other. I did come up with a different solution, but I figured while the vanity wasn't in place, it would be easier to go ahead and install the tile. And I'm just going to let you know, if you're a beginner, this hexagon tile is not the easiest to get the spacing perfectly right. Once that tile was installed, I went ahead and got the vanity set in place. I have 1x2s on the side and back wall that are screwed into the studs. And I was so excited that worked, and then I got it put back together while it was in place, and then I'm staining it Spice Brown by Duracell. This is my new favorite stain color. And then of course we had to do a test fit with the sinks and the mirror. I was so excited to get this done. I added a large piece of edge banding to the front and then stained it so that way that plywood would look like a full sheet of wood. And don't worry, for those of y'all that freak out that I use wood in the bathroom, I've sealed it like 6 times now. It's fine. I got the tile grouted and then started working on the back and the sides of the vanity. Now this is a solid piece of oak I'm using here, and I routed it to make it look fancier because everything in this bathroom is going to be fancy. And you can see here that I also rounded the front parts of those before I routed it. Look how pretty that is. I'm telling you, my router is one of my favorite tools. You can work magic with that thing. And then I put another coat of sealer on just to be safe. I'm using General Finishes and satin for my sealer for this because it was recommended to me by a woodworking friend who's been working with wood for like 30 years. And because I don't have it in me to waste space and put a faux drawer, I made these funky looking drawers to go around the pipes underneath the sinks underneath that vanity. And here's my first test fit here. I was so excited when it actually worked. I mean, these drawers fit in here perfectly. I screwed on the drawer fronts that I also made out of oak, and it's the same oak that I used for the backs and the sides of the top of that vanity. And of course, I routed the edges to make them look pretty. This is the point where the vanity started coming together when the drawer fronts were on, and it just started looking finished, and I could see the finished result in my head, and I was so excited about that. I picked out some antique gold drawer pulls, and looking back, you really can't see them too well, but I think it kind of adds to that antique charm that I was looking for. What do you think? Would you have picked one that stands out a little bit more with the color of the stain that I used? Maybe a brighter gold color? And then I temporarily set the sinks and the faucets in place just to see what it was going to look like. I know it'll bother some people that the faucets and the drawer pulls aren't the same color gold, but it doesn't really bother me, so I'm good with it. I primed the piping underneath and then added rub and buff to it to make it the same color as the faucets. I had to use primer because the rub and buff wasn't sticking to the plastic of that. And then it was time to address that back wall. It looks all crazy because previously I had put shiplap up and used wood glue on it, and apparently you should not use wood glue when putting a wall treatment like this. Brad nails alone are perfectly fine. This is a pole wrap type material that I use, and looking back, I'm not sure that I would use this again just because it was kind of a pain to work with and it was a huge pain to paint. But I do love the way it turned out. And yes, the mirrors are a different gold than the poles and the faucets, but I could only match so well doing things online. I did have a little bit of oak left over, so I routed the edges and made a little plant stand. Isn't that cute? And this is how it turned out right after I was finished with the vanity area. It's freaking gorgeous. And then I did a whole bathroom renovation, and this was just part of it. What do you think about taking away the storage underneath the vanity?